Now, I better plug this in. What's going on, Adam? Got a couple people in here. Yeah, Stan and I were going to do a podcast tonight, and he couldn't do it, so I figured I'd jump on. I don't know. Figured I could rant about some stuff. What do you guys? What do you guys feel like talking about tonight? Your buddy told you about Chainlink. Yeah, man, Chainlink. I got lucky with that one, and I probably should have put more in. You bought 81,000 worth of it? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I mean I bought Chainlink under $1 last year, and I remember telling my friends about it. I was reading about the the 81,000. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know the metrics of it, like the circulating supply. It's really hard to. Well, yeah, I guess I'll just switch over to crypto mode here. So anyone that popped in probably just be talking about crypto. But so let me do a bong rip here real quick. So the only crypto that I can like kind of be like, yeah, sky's the limit, no matter what, is Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has more to say about the value of the dollar than anything else. Altcoins, and Link is one of those. Link obviously has some real utility and stuff like that, but the price of any altcoin is market related, and then you have to look at charts and market cap and circulating supply. That's just how it works. Link has been a little bit different in that it had a Coinbase listing, a Gemini listing, and it's part of the whole DeFi craze and stuff like that. So there is that hype around it, last hype cycle when XRP went to like $5 or whatever. That was all hype based, I mean, it was able to do that just based on people just dumb money flooding in and just buying it no matter what the price is because they thought it would be the next Bitcoin. Link, I don't think its value is tied to that hype, nor do I think that hype will be it won't work the same way. A lot of the value now is going to be institutional. So, I don't know if Link's API, Oracle stuff, whatever that really is. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to understand the technicals of that. If that is useful in the new decentralized finance area going forward, that is a situation, like I said, with Bitcoin. Like we don't know how to put a value on that. But also, I do know that ecosystem is pretty far away. The traditional finance world is not going away without some epic, crash that just kind of like without JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and all these things just going away and not existing. The blockchain ecosystem, decentralized finance stuff is 10, 20 years away maybe. So I don't know. A coin like Link going from $10 to 81,000, that is crazy talk. That would be a crazy amount of hype and FOMO for that to happen anytime in the next decade. I mean, that would require Donald Trump coming on, holding an emergency press conference and saying that he sold a building for Link or something like that. Like that's how crazy it would have to be to spark like a quick jump of any cryptocurrency that much, other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only thing that it could go from whatever it is right now to 81,000 in a month, and I'd be like, yep, that's Bitcoin for it, because it is so much. The dollar value of Bitcoin says so much more about the dollar than it does Bitcoin. And I haven't seen altcoins do that other than like this really short window of FOMO hype that lasted what 3-4 months in 2017. So yeah, that's where I'm at with alts. I'm not saying I don't hold any. I actually, because we're in an uptrend, because we're in a bull run, 50% of my portfolio is alt. But in the bear market I just came out of, my portfolio was 90% Bitcoin at that point. That was the only sure bet. I didn't know what the hell was going to come out of it. And when I felt like we were turning the corner last year, all of my research into utility and partnerships and stuff like that, Link just stood out to me, and I was right, and it 10x. But not, I didn't have enough of it. I had like 100 Link. I had like $100 or $200 into it when it was like 90 cents or 75 cents or something like that. And I wish I would have put more in and trusted my gut a little more there. But that being said, I'm not saying it's dead. I'm just, it's a slow go now from, along with all the other, top 10 coins. But it's been a great story in the last year of crypto. Link has, for sure. Do I know what the next one will be? Absolutely not. I don't know. We're entering a period where there's going to be so much bullshit that people, put out there and like, oh, check this coin out, And the only real way to like hit like a 10x on a coin is to be on some shady ass, exchange that you need a VPN and there's no liquidity, and as soon as it 10x's it dumps, or it 10x's because it's getting listed on Coinbase or something like that, and then after that, if you get in after it's already jumped up 10 times, then it's slow going and it's a game of percentages from there on out, just like everything else. Chainlink looks like it's correlated with the moving average. Yeah, I mean, everything falls into line with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, let me do another bong rip here. So many alts are trying, people chase them looking for the next Bitcoin where there isn't. And Bitcoin has surpassed the term cryptocurrency. And people keep talking about cryptocurrency. Like people that don't have it, they're like, oh, how can you spend Bitcoin? And it's like, I go, first off, if you got Square Cash App, it's as easy as sending Venmo or PayPal. If you got the crypto.com debit card, it's as easy as using your debit card. That part of the adoption of spending Bitcoin, if you want to buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin, there's multiple ways to do that right now, and that will just continue getting easier. The real question is, why would you want to? Okay. And so the term currency, I don't feel is, it doesn't paint the right picture in people's heads. I think that Bitcoin should be more akin to real estate. And what I mean by that is that we're becoming more and more of a digital world, obviously. The coronavirus pandemic, working from home, Zoom meeting, all this stuff. We're just, school is going to be virtual this year. Everything's going to be virtual online. And stores are going to go away. Grocery stores are going to go away. Everything's going to be buying stuff online. So, we're going to a digital cash world, whether that's fiat or not, it doesn't matter. But there's going to be a need for, an internet level of value. And that's what Bitcoin is. It's a protocol. It's a protocol layer. It is, it's going to be what things are valued in the internet. When they say Bitcoin is going to be the world reserve currency, that's not going to be some official statement by central banks and the IMF and all this stuff. It's going to be, that's just what people, what value is online. When you're dealing with online companies shipping from other countries and all this, they're not going to want to use the dollar anymore. Everyone's going to hate the US so much that they're not going to want to use their dollar. So they're going to be like, you can send us whatever currency it is, make sure it's this much Bitcoin. And that's, that's going to be the level. So the more of that you own, the more of that layer you own. When people are buying $10 worth of something in Bitcoin, they're just breaking off a little chunk from that layer, and it's just kind of moving around. And Bitcoin will get to a point where it's so expensive to own one that's just not something people will do. People will not trade one Bitcoin, buy one Bitcoin. It'll just be, either sats or whatever. But it'll be this like gelatinous layer of value on the internet. And right now, you think of one Bitcoin as not a coin, it's an acre of that new undeveloped plane. Okay. And it's a plane of existence. It's a plane of reality, much like land was when we first started, moving out of cities and creating, developments, subdivisions and stuff like that. I was reading about Levittown, which was like the first subdivision to come out of New York City. And it was on Long Island when Long Island was, just farmland or, wasteland or whatever. And there was some racist shit along with this. Like Levittown was started as like this place to build houses, and black people couldn't buy houses, and nonsense like that. But still, they sold houses for $8,000 a pop. And can you imagine? If you bought I don't know, 100 houses, say or whatever for $8,000, you were a developer and you bought these houses and sold. That real estate right now is worth an insane amount of money, and it's just you staked your claim on this new area of expansion, and Bitcoin is no different than that. It's if you buy one Bitcoin now, if you buy whatever amount you can afford, you're staking your claim on that new plane of existence that will only increase in value. It will be volatile and stuff like that because people don't realize that's coming down the pike right now, and that's okay. That the volatility only helps us accumulate and grow, our profit in our portfolios right now. But at some point that will stop, and it will be this insane number that would sound crazy right now. But that is the cost of the real estate in the future, and I just don't see any other coin doing that. Like, there's a very real possibility that I could totally see happening with Bitcoin, but I just don't see it with any other coin. Maybe Ether. Like right now, I have almost as much Ether as I do Bitcoin, and I feel pretty comfortable with that because of the way things are shaking out and the hype around DeFi and stuff like that. But when I think and try to like really envision, 10, 20 years out, Bitcoin's the only thing I see sticking around, and that's not even for sure when it comes to like quantum computing and stuff like that. But Bitcoin has the first mover advantage to be that protocol layer that you can stake your claim on now. And I don't know why anyone would spend that. I don't know why anyone would sell that unless you have very real pressing real world issues that you need to liquidate assets. That's the only reason I could see that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's my altcoin versus Bitcoin rant there. Let me catch up with some of the comments here. Link has the power of meme culture behind it. Yeah, it does. It's going to be the darling of the hype train. But it's still, its value is derived from markets and charts and trading and stuff like that. And it'll pump, but it'll dump back down and correct back to where, kind of the correlation with that moving average, like you said, with Bitcoin. DMT, I don't know shit about Bitcoin, but I've been buying it through Coinbase and I'm wasting my time with them. If that's too noob, I apologize. That's not too noob, and that's fine. Any way that you can hook your bank account up to crypto as a fiat on-ramp or portal, whatever you want to call it, go for it. Coinbase is great. Now, I wouldn't hold it on there. That's the only thing. Like I recommend either the free wallet Exodus that you just use on your desktop, or spend the dough and get a hardware wallet. I'll show you. I've got two that I use. This is Ledger. It's just like a USB stick. And then this is the Trezor. This one's nice. This integrates right into the Exodus wallet that I was talking about, and just adds another level of security to a very nice user experience wallet that I think Exodus is. You can anonymously hold and sell crypto on there and exchange it. It's a great Exodus is a great wallet. There's a lot like it, but that one's just the one I've used. I really like the exchange function in there. But yeah, no, buying Bitcoin right now, like, it's fine. I would save your purchases for days where it's going down. Like get Blockfolio as an app, and watch the coins that you're interested in. Add the transactions you have so you can keep track of it. It'll keep your total portfolio up at the top. And then when all the numbers are red, that's a good day to throw $100 in it. That's a good day. And then when you do that, you'll kind of always guarantee that your portfolio is a little higher than what you think you have invested in it, and that's kind of the way to go. And if you do that for 4 or 5 years, you'll see a huge difference, and if it goes down again, we might go under 10,000 again. If it does, buy more, increase your weekly purchase. Right now is a time where any extra cash that you can kiss goodbye, you should be thrown into Bitcoin. And if you already have Bitcoin, or you want to take some stabs at Ether or some other alts or whatever, that's good too. The same thing though. Get it off into a wallet that isn't an exchange. I just had a situation where for a good 2.5 weeks, I bought some Ether on Coinbase and I couldn't get it off of there. It wouldn't send it to my wallet. And I had to open a complaint, and it took forever, but then it finally got off of there. But that shit happens, man. Like, it ain't your money. The money in the bank ain't your money, and the money you have on, or the crypto you have on exchange is not your money until you're holding it in your grubby hands. And that's That's my only advice. Like whatever service you get to get fiat into crypto, do it. Whatever will allow you to do it. But that's the key, is not holding it on that exchange or on that broker. Dude, the fact that gold has spiked so much is super concerning for the Dow. Yes. So that's what I'm talking about. Sky's the limit for Bitcoin. There's no, all technicals, all market research, all that can get thrown out the window because it's an inflation hedge right now. And we're going to see the big difference between inflation and deflation. And we don't really understand that because we consider a dollar to be a dollar. But you know, now that like trade is all fucked up and you know, supply chains and everything are all fucked up and farming's fucked up, and you know, at the same time we're seeing this huge inflation in asset prices, and the government's buying all this corporate debt and giving and loaning out money for corporations to buy their stocks. So stock prices are going stock high. You got the Barstool Sports guy who's like, you know, got millions of people on Robinhood buying stocks of bankrupt companies. Like the financial world is a mess, and it really hasn't hit Main Street that hard yet because everyone's getting free government money. Everyone's landlords are forced to not kick them out. The student loans are not asking for their money yet. Mortgages are not asking for their money. You know, we're kind of all in this holding period, you know, being like, thank God the government's keeping us safe. You know, thank God they're giving us stimulus. But like that shit will run out of power. And crypto bugs, gold bugs, you know, all these people that have a defensive investment strategy right now to protect against the inflation that is just rampant and inevitable. It's already happening, but we just don't realize it. The crypto bugs and the gold bugs see that, and that's why those prices are going up. And there's no limit to either of those, to gold, silver, and Bitcoin. There's no limit to how high they can go. How high they can go, it's a bet against the U.S. economy, honestly, you know, or the global economy, you know. So, like, that sucks. I hate making that that bet, you know. But I also hate having 6 months of food in my basement. You know, I hate thinking that at some point, like, I'm not going to be able to feed my family unless I've already gotten that food. I have like, you know, 25 gallons of gas out in my shed, you know, just so I can bug the fuck out and get to New York. Like, I hate having to do that stuff, but it's what you got to do to protect yourself and to you know, take care of your family and yourself, and holding and buying Bitcoin and crypto and gold and silver. That it's all the same thing, man. It's all emergency preparedness. I feel like, you know. How many other coin options are out there? Tim said. I don't know, 2,000, 3,000. Most of it's bullshit. I don't think you should hold a portfolio of more than like 10 coins, and that's even probably too much. The only thing that separates BTC from the land analogy is eminent domain. Right now, you know, like, who's to say that a government doesn't perform some sort of 51% attack by like controlling all the mining, controlling the power consumption? You know, that's the weak link for me. Honestly, is that Bitcoin got to a point where it's not able to, you know, be mined by the users, you know, and it's going to get to a point where the energy to mine it and all of that is going to be so high that it's entirely possible that a government could control that. And, you know, you can consider that kind of eminent domain if they could create more coins and give them to themselves, you know, or whatever. Or just, you know, battles over hash power or whatever. That's a situation that could arise, and I could equate that to eminent domain of land takeovers and stuff like that. Link depends on technological advancement. BTC depends on general social advancement. Yeah, I agree with that. Pothead use alts to get more BTC. Exactly. I mean, that's what you do, and that's why, like in the bear market, I use that time to get out of alts. Probably too late. I held too many, thinking, oh, these are going to be the next thing, and waited too long. But I traded them to BTC at a time where they were worth so much more than they are now, and it worked out. I used the time where everyone thought Bitcoin was dead as a great time to accumulate, and it just goes through those cycles. Do I wish that I had bought Bitcoin at $100 and less? Obviously, but I've talked to more people that bought it during that time that either lost it or sold it prematurely. That it's all a game of percentages and managing your emotion, and there's never too late of a time to get on that train and learn those lessons about yourself. DMT said that's exactly what I was wanting to know. Thanks. I've only gained money since I got the coin. I'm just scared one day it'll wake up and it'll be at zero somehow. I doubt it'll be at zero, but it could be less, and that's just when you buy again. You buy when it hurts. Yeah, I don't know. I hope we aren't, in the middle of a freak out or fake out. I mean, and it's going to go way down, way under 10,000 again and sit there for a year. I don't think that's going to happen. Like the social advancement, like Adam was talking about, is up there to the point where we're in an uptrend. It's at least till the end of next year, it's going up. But I look at it as a 401k with a crazy return on investment. I'm not really thinking of when to sell. I'm thinking of when it's a good time to buy, and then I hold. And if I need something, I'll sell it. If it's really crazy, like I'm like, okay, this is obviously going to crash at some point, I will sell to stablecoin, but just as a placeholder to accumulate more when it does crash. That's what everybody did. That's what everybody did, and I came in at the end of that cycle, and I got played, and I took the next 3 years or whatever to figure out what the fuck game I was playing, and that's what the game is, and money's a game, and Bitcoin's no different. It's all a game, The only real thing in life is sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and plants. So, and dogs. But yeah, I don't think it will go to zero. I wouldn't be afraid of that, DMT. But just know it fluctuates, man. It's a crazy roller coaster ride. T-Mobile and Google are implementing link nodes. So although the current hype is market-based, I believe its true value is closer to $4 or $5. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. Last year, last spring or early summer, I was reading about Link and like all of its partnerships, and like they were real partnerships, not just crypto website hype, market manipulation. And I was like, okay, so this is a real technology here. Everything else claims to be this decentralized ecosystem and all this. It's like, no, Link actually is going to get used by the companies that do shit that we don't understand, And I don't know. I always look at alts. It's like if they're just kind of saying they're the new Ethereum or they're, the new Bitcoin or whatever, like it's probably just bullshit. Like they're just kind of like found one little thing and they tweak it to improve onto something else that was already successful. But like some of the stuff where it's like, I don't understand what the fuck that is, but it sounds technical as hell and sounds like they have a lot of shit behind it. Like one is a theta. I can't get that. I don't want to really use a VPN and fuck around with weird exchanges, um, or whatever. But that will be on Coinbase soon. Apparently, Theta is a really good idea, and yeah, I think that'll be a huge one. Um, but and the partnerships and like the team and what they've done before, those are important things to look at with like smaller coins to try to picture what's gonna blow up. And that's what I did last year with Link. I just saw all that shit coming. I was like, ooh, that'd be a good one, but I only threw a couple $100 at it, and I bought it along the way. So like my dollar cost average of it is probably, like you said, like it's closer to $4 or $5. I think I've FOMO'd into it enough to where even though I got it at like 75 cents, I think my average cost is $4 or $5. Where it's sitting at like 10 today, like that's pretty good. I probably should take profit, but I don't know. If anyone wants to talk about anything other than crypto, that's fine. But you know me, I like, this is all I do all day is listen to like crypto and macroeconomic podcasts. I want to get more into the psychonaut vibe, but like, I don't know. I got to do a lot more mushrooms than I did the last time to do that. If anyone watched our podcast talking about the last trip. But I've said this for a while before we started talking about crypto, that like there is a really big synergy between the two worlds of crypto and psychedelics. And I definitely hope to be in that middle ground talking about it. Like I don't want to ever abandon either topic. Next stimulus package will sink commodity prices in the short term. It'll be the perfect time to buy precious metals and cryptos, but yes, must be in hand. Yes. So my cash position right now is a lot bigger than I would like. Because I do feel that. I feel it like, okay, there's one more crash and that's the last bottom. That's the triple bottom to buy. But I also know, man, we can get stuck waiting for that, and so I can see the stimulus package just flushing all markets with cash and everything's up, and then some fake ass vaccine that barely does anything will come out and that'll make markets go crazy and everything. And like, I think we could be looking at the real crash isn't until like the dust settles from the presidential election and the Supreme Court, vacancies filled and Ginsburg leaves, and just all this stuff that's like there's too much up in the air for markets to really be afraid. But I don't know. I think there will be a banking collapse before a market crash, and maybe that'll. But whatever. Josh Rowland just popped in. Sorry, party might be over here. Just popped in to say hi. Hope you're doing well. Doing good over here. Corona free. I'm ready for the next semester to be easy online classes. Nice, man. We got to have you back on the podcast again. You're definitely awesome to talk to. You did want to ask something about psychedelics. Have you observed technology tweaking out when psychedelics are around? I have. It's mostly like my misunderstanding of it. It's not really. You can come down. Oh, I don't know. She's letting the dogs out. Whatever. I've always tried to. I think I've told the story of like a couple times where I've been like really tripping. And I've been like, man, I want to like mess with my electric guitar and effects and stuff like that. And I can't even figure out how to plug it in. Or I'm like, I'm just going to start a fire down here. Like electricity, like kind of scares me and stuff like that, but sometimes, I don't know, it's weird. That's more with mushrooms. Last time I did acid, I really wanted to like be on my phone, like connected to people. I felt like this need to like live stream it or, update on the Discord channel, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Technology and mushrooms don't really mix, but then I have a lot of like technological thoughts and like the future of humanity and stuff on them. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, you try to Snapchat your mushrooms to a few of your select friends, and it was the first time Snapchat crashed on you. Yeah, maybe they didn't want to be Snapchatted. I don't know. Like I've heard about people that try to like take pictures at ayahuasca ceremonies and stuff like that, and the pictures never come out and whatever. Or take pictures of the shaman, and first off, they don't. Some shamanistic cultures don't want that because like they feel that taking their picture captures their soul and stuff like that. But I've heard of that where it just doesn't even work, or like TV crews have come to do like a show about a ayahuasca ceremony and like it just won't even record and stuff like that. Valentine, how you doing? Were you just on the Discord talk about crypto? Astro Valen, is that you? You love my trip stories. Yeah. I've gotten pretty good at like recognizing different screen names and stuff like that, and connecting them to people's names and everything. But yeah, no, it's good. Good questions you had on the Discord. Definitely, I don't know if any of you guys, if Adam's on there or whatever. I definitely. That's going to be my only social media. That and Twitter are going to be my only social media pretty soon. I'm deleting Facebook. I'm just sick of it. And so I'm probably going to be more active on Discord because I just really like all you guys, Yeah. Well, anytime you want to be on, help find the others at protonmail.com. I love having guests on, talking to them. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Send me an email. Anybody can send me an email anytime. If you want to talk on Skype, it doesn't have to be a podcast. If anyone ever wants to talk, if you're, I want to be there for anyone that's like trying to integrate trips or having a bad trip, whatever's going on. I've talked to a lot of people, not just the people that are on the podcast. I've got WhatsApp and people. There's several people that we send just little voice chats back and forth on WhatsApp or talk on Skype. I all day long at work I can pretty much talk on the phone. So and that's like no matter where you live or whatever, I've probably got availability in your time zone. You had strange synchronicities on the 434 Discord, just too much. Well, I don't know. That's a pretty weird group, like I think what I like about our group is we're weird but down to earth, and there's been I don't know. I mean I'd have to you could go more. Hey AR, what's up? You could go more in depth about what those synchronicities were, but it's like I don't know. That's a weird group. It's going to invite weirder energies. But our Discord, it has days where we're discussing a lot. It has days where there's not a lot of stuff, days where there's just some memes and whatever. But I like it more for a spot for people to ask questions and get a good range of responses, whether that's about psychedelics, whether that's about crypto, whether that's about, anything, music production, whatever. Oh, you're softy on the Discord. Nice. Oh, you're in Argentina. Nice. Well, it can't be that big of a difference of, yeah, just 1 hour back. It wouldn't be too bizarre. You were tripping on 3/4 of a tab on the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina and Tennessee while you were hiking. Your grandma admitted to the hospital for COPD. I prayed restored us. When I returned home from the trip, I checked the 4-3 Discord for the first time in like 60 days. What up, Stan? Three independent people had healing dreams that day I tripped. Yeah, man. I mean, what? That doesn't sound bad though. Like, I don't know why Discord would be too much for you there. Then that sounds pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's a sign of Discord. I think that's just that. I mean, synchronicities or whatever, and I think if you maybe would have been looking on Twitter or Facebook or anything, you would have been drawn to someone that was having that same kind of connection to your timeline. It's all about timelines and awareness and stuff like that. I think that's the thing with synchronicities is they happen all the time. They happen all the time. Deja vu happens all the time. All this stuff happens all the time. The difference is like after we're in the psychedelic space, our brain is tuned in to like pick up on them more. And our intuition is more fine-tuned, so your intuition was like, hey, check out the Discord, check out that Discord you haven't been to in 60 days, and you did, and there was other people that were drawn to your timeline, and I think that's what goes on with synchronicities a little bit. It's like that shit's always all around us, we're just ignored because we're following some other narrative, that the society sets up. We're set at the balance of everybody's intuition and everybody's like narrative and wants and everything. Like that's what we end up falling into, that river, and psychedelics take us out of that and, help us kind of like, it's the kind of thing like if you were always sitting in this room watching that TV, but then all of a sudden you turn the TV off, you'd probably be like, yeah, I never noticed that pattern in the ceiling. You start looking around at other things, and that's what I think like synchronicities honestly are. Joseph Rashid said, hey, Rubin, I'm a student in my first year of computer science. I'm feeling pretty lost in life right now. I'm just very unsure what I want my life to look like in the future. Yeah. I don't know. What do you like? It's okay to be confused, man. This is a fucking confusing time. I think like one thing of advice I would give you is like, if you're in your first year and you're a student, I imagine pretty young, like this too shall pass, man. None of this shit going on right now is going to fucking matter. The key is to be aware, and all the things that I've done in the past couple years of my life, if I would have found out and started working on them when I was younger, when I was just starting out. I'd be unstoppable, you know? And so that's what I think about, you know, like people in college right now is like, man, pay attention to money. Don't fall into materialism. Um, have intuition. Don't be afraid to work hard, and don't be afraid to volunteer your time. And if you do all of that, as far as like where you're going in life, you like, you know, career wise and stuff like that, like you're gonna find your way. You know, if you're already in computer science, honestly, I would do whatever you can to focus that into crypto and blockchain and stuff like that, because like career wise, that's what you're going to do. Spiritual life wise, you know, imagine you're here because of psychedelics, but also incorporate meditation, diet, and exercise. um, you know, and it's okay to not know what you want to be when you grow up. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I'm probably significantly older than you. You know, nobody wants to be what knows what they want to be when they grow up. The only people that know what they want to be when they grow up aren't happy that they're doing it, you know. But do I think that psychedelics might help clear things up? They will motivate you to figure out how to clear things up. Let's put it that way. They are not the answer. The answer lies within you. They may help you see that and understand that, however. They'll show you the areas you need to work. Yeah, Josh, man, Josh Rowland, anytime, brother. Uh, Chat or podcast, dude. I love talking to you. You got great stories, man. Total Rod 2. Is any of my band's music online? Yeah, my band is the laziest old fucks ever. We do have one decent song. I'm happy with the mix. Uh, I have the file, and I want to do a SoundCloud, but I'm too lazy. Maybe I'll do that this weekend because I do want to share that. I mean, I'm proud of you know, at least a few of our songs. Adam said, I believe magical spiritual energy works through interpersonal relationship networks. I do too. Holy shit, dude, you're speaking some deep truths so casually, like, oh yeah, infinite timelines, bro. It's whatever. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it only sounds deep because like the standard shit people talk about is so shallow. You know, if I was on here going like, "Oh, I think, you know, Biden when he gets in the debates, he's got to do this and blah blah blah," and you know, "Ooh, we got to have more testing," and blah blah blah. You know, what all the nonsense people talk about is just it's so shallow. You know, and if people are like, "Yeah, you know, I think deja vu is a little bit of DMT spurting out in your brain in a mini psychedelic experience," and that's what, you know, if people were actually having those conversations, they wouldn't seem so deep. They would just seem like what people actually want to talk about. But people are afraid to talk about those things, and that's the whole like, you know, mission statement for Help Find the Others was like to provide an area for dudes, well, not just dudes, I guess, for people to fucking just talk about the stuff that they can't bring up at their cookouts, you know, because it's too weird and deep, you know, and it's not. It's just that people feel compelled to talk about the minutia of life that we consider to be society and you know, reality and the consensus reality, and it's not. You know, everybody sits there and thinks like, "What's the fuck? What the fuck is the point of this?" You know, and that's what people want to talk about. People want to talk about like what happens when you die. You know, like people want to talk about like why is there some mushrooms that make you see eternity in its 3D function and some that kill you. You know, like people want to talk about that shit, but you can't really bring it up at your standard cookout or, you know, work Christmas party. Someday, maybe. but I'm so used to talking about it either on the podcast or with people that, like I said, that I just chat with through this that don't want to be on the podcast but want to talk. So I have these conversations like frequently, and I've just been either drawn to or drawn people in my life, friends and stuff like that. That's like what we talk about. I mean, I have some group text threads that are nuts. Josh said that people aren't as interested in psychedelics right now because of the social climate, but in the wake of this, sites and interest will explode. I believe. Dude, 100% agree. I had my first experience a couple weekends ago, and I was scared in this climate to do that. And I really, my intention was party time. I didn't want to like even think about pandemic nonsense, but I do think once the chickens come home to roost with what the new normal actually is, people think the new normal in society is wearing masks. That ain't the new normal. The new normal is like $15 gallons of milk and stuff like that. I like and 401ks that went to zero and no more social security and stuff like that. That is where psychedelics are going to be big. People are going to have some big existential crises. People that lost their businesses, defaulted on every loan they had, ended up living at their parents' house when they're 40 something. People like that. And that's where the psychedelic world and culture needs to be. We need to be. I've said this before. We need to be. Embrace those people with open arms. Valentin said, the world just ended. Was talking to Yosef, said the world just ended. We are free from any future. Just kidding. You are the future. That's good advice right there. That's a big thing out of I've heard of it through like the spiritual world that we're going through a rebirth and a ascension and stuff like that. But even if all that isn't really true or really accurate or wrong terminology, if you look at it from a pure societal standpoint, there's just a lot of things. There's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of educational, job, wealth turnover and stuff like that, which means there's a lot of opportunity coming out of this. For everything that someone lost is an opportunity for someone to gain. And people that are trying to figure out what they're going to be and are young enough, that's a perfect spot. Yeah, you are the future. Your science seems like you got life figured out. Smoking weed could help on the anxiety, but depends on the person. Yeah, definitely agree with that too. Could you give any keys to making meditation a daily habit? Well, I mean, the first key is don't necessarily expect that it's going to be a daily habit. I go through periods, man. I will, and if you want to hit me up, I can send you the files. I have this 21-day meditation challenge from Deepak Chopra. They're little like 15-minute meditations. They're kind of like a little spiel that he gives with some music over it, and then some silent, or well, he doesn't talk. There's music. They're great, and if you can do that for 21 days, either in the morning and at night, twice a day, whatever you listen to them, they're broken up into days, and he says like, "Welcome to day 12," whatever. It's That's a really good way to get started. And then like from there, I just started looking up different meditations and visualizations and stuff on um, uh, Spotify. There's also a good Wim Hof file on Spotify that's a loop of one like session of breathing, and that's a good meditation too. It's a good meditation with a breathing exercise. Um, so yeah, that's just using stuff like that. I think is pretty good. Using different videos or sorry, audio files, and either doing it before bed instead of watching TV or whatever most people do, or wake up 15 minutes earlier and do it, to the add it to the start of your day. I actually think that would be more advantageous, or advantageous, but it's hard for me just because like I wake up and it's like gotta take care of kids and whatever, but if you don't have kids, the morning's probably better. Just kind of set your focus. Rubin, have I read my birth chart? Is that like astrology? It's really powerful and could help you finding a purpose when lost. Yes, sir. What's your email? Help find the others at protonmail.com. Well, it's time for bed. I hope you have my buddy Nick on soon. Catch you on the flip. Oh, okay, Adam. You would email me. Yeah, I hooked up with him on Skype and we haven't talked yet. But I'm available like pretty much anytime. So if you talk to him, tell him, hey, hit me up. So I'm definitely like, we wanted to chat before we record, and I mean, he sounds like he has some great stuff to talk about and be a great guest. So that's awesome. And there was someone else on the Discord. We got another good guest coming up. They got to hit me up on I can't remember. I don't think you're in here. They hit me up as a DM on the Discord. What were they talking about? I don't know. They sounded awesome. That'll be a good guest. We got a couple good guests. I want to get Adam on from Canada again. I love that guy. Oh yeah, he said he was on vacation. So yeah, I mean, whenever. We got all the time in the world. Time's an illusion anyway. Yeah, Josh, definitely hit me up, man. I'd love to catch up. And Joseph Rashid there, if you ever want to talk, man, hit me up too. Shoot me an email. We can talk at Skype, whatever you want, man. I don't mind giving words of wisdom to younger cats trying to find their way, man. I mean, there's a caveat that like I'm 38 and still haven't found my way, but maybe I can tell you what paths were worth taking and what weren't. Cooking or reading a book can bring awareness too. Yeah, I agree. I noticed one thing. I cut my finger pretty bad on Monday with a fucking pocket knife, and I haven't been able to play guitar. And I usually play about 20 to 25 minutes of guitar a day of just nonsense, just messing with pedals, getting lost in like a delay, just like kind of whatever. Not even, it should be more constructive. I would have a lot of songs, but that's legit guitar time being put in every day. And I should have more like constructive stuff done, but I really do just do it meditatively, and it raises awareness. Like I will like kind of fucking, figure out some shit. But I've noticed by not being able to play guitar all week, I'm like, well, fuck, dude, that's been my meditation there. For all as down on myself as I can get for, falling in and out of like regular, doing meditation either in the woods or, just listen to birds or at home at night, listening to a guided meditation. And I'll be like, I haven't done that for a while. Or whatever. The guitar meditation, I basically do every day. And it definitely brings about awareness, like I can get in that state. I mean, I know for people that don't play or just trying to figure out, like, you're very into like trying to figure it out, but I just kind of like zone out and jam and just play off the equipment more than the actual instrument sometimes. And it's meditative for sure. Oh, you're on the same wavelength with that too, Josh? That's awesome, man. Do you, Lars? Nice. You didn't miss a stream. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an hour in. I don't know how much longer I'll go, but it saves it. You can watch it later. We were talking crypto at the start. I was ranting on Bitcoin and stuff. I don't know if it made sense, but what are things, Joseph said, what are things I've learned that I can definitely attribute to meditation? Two things. One is that aside from major like injury, or just, overall like age and decline of your body. Aside from those two things, you can heal any condition. Well, I won't say any condition because I don't have like severe mental illness or, paralysis or anything like that. But that I consider both of those to be, severe injuries, right? Mental or physical. But most normal people, if you're somewhat normal like me, I would consider myself to be normal. Some people might argue with that. But anyway, you can get over any mental, physical condition through positive mindset, awareness, and focus, especially with Wim Hof. When you add the very physical thing, that's actually has science behind it that he's tested and stuff, of the breath work and the oxygen and the period of having no air in your lungs and the cold exposure and all that stuff. That's all using your body and your mind. Like I think there's not a lot of need for a lot of medicine through meditation and mindfulness and awareness and breath work. I've really, that's one thing that, like, until I started meditating, I didn't, I don't know. I didn't even think of that, Not that I've ever been big on like prescription medicine or had a lot of conditions, but it's like, back injuries. I was actually going to do a YouTube video called Meditation is Medicine because, I've realized I'm like one of the only people in my family that doesn't take any prescription medicine, like now I take a lot of herbal medicine though, but whatever, but yeah, I've been relatively healthy and not had too many problems. And whenever I do feel like back pain or knee pain or stuff, creeping in, like I really can focus on it and heal myself, I'm not saying like if I had a terminal illness or, broke my leg, like meditation isn't going to do that. But I think for overall, just like wellness and well-being and longevity and stuff like that, meditation and mindfulness definitely are beneficial. So that's one thing I've learned from it. What was the other thing? I had a thought there. Just like this too shall pass, like not getting too worried about the timing of anything, not trying to be too rushed. That's the way to live. That's, a lot of those other things I was talking about there, like a lot of unwell conditions we may have come from like stress, and a lot of stress comes from time pressure, and if you could devote several times a week or every day to meditation, I think you learn to manage your time pressure a lot better. I definitely have. Oh, your ketamine medicine. Oh yeah, you showed a picture of that. Was that the nose spray? And I could see that. I maybe that rambling mess I just had there made sense with ketamine because um, ketamine can induce that kind of like slow everything down, isolate your consciousness from all your external pressures, kind of thing. I experienced that kind of on ketamine, not in a beneficial way. It actually, I didn't like it, but I could see if that was your intent that it would be good. Um, there's something. Sometimes I get really anxious uh, in those moments of like time slowing down through meditation. Like there was one. I don't know, something on Spotify. I can't remember the person, but it was all about like visualizing, stopping um, your like anxiety with time or something. I can't remember what it's called, but whatever it was. And it that's what they were talking about. Is like there's all the time in the world, and like talking really slow like that. And I remember having these like really anxious moments trying to meditate, listening to this guided meditation, to where I like had to switch it because I was like, what's the point of this? This is actually aggravating me. um, but that tells me that's something I need to work on and do more of those meditations and be able to get to a point where I am able to listen to what they're saying. Uh, yeah, you use the space to look at your issues from outside, so you can give myself a non-biased opinion on what to do. Yeah, yeah, because I mean, that's the biggest message I try to get across in a lot of the shit I ramble on about. Is that like you're in control of this? Like nobody, there is no guru. You are the best guru you'll ever have in your life. Um, the right decision at every juncture in our life is in between your fucking ears, man. It is, and I don't care how big or how small your view of reality in the world is. That's a universal truth. Uh, even down to psychedelics. Yeah, all the people that talk to entities and stuff like that, no matter what discussion or exchange of information you ever have with those entities, and assuming that they aren't yourself anyway or some a part of yourself, um, the 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 realizations you have to your ego, is when we talk about like trying to get rid of the ego, the realizations, the conversations we have with our ego, the awareness, the observation of it is the most important thing that we can take out of the psychedelic experience for like how we get by real life, how we like work this thing, um, we come down, we come back to this. So there's got to be messages we bring back, and that self-awareness and being able to trust yourself and observe yourself, so that anything you don't like about yourself or the situation you get yourself in or the communications you have, we can change that. Every day is something new. Every moment something new. You can change at any time. Uh, those are the lessons I learned in meditation. Is that that's important. I'm supposed to be paying attention to what's inside right now. Everything else I worry about, everything else that causes stress, everything else that causes worry, depression, anxiety, all that stuff is caused by somebody else's narrative that they either you know are expecting me to follow, or I'm trying to follow because I'm influenced by that. Uh, that influence should always come from within. It's hard to keep remembering that. Because I forget it every damn time I remember it. captain my own ship and the adventure of all the way up till it sinks with you. Yeah, that's the sad realization of life, right? It's like you're the captain of the ship, and no matter what the fuck you try to do, you're going down with this motherfucker too. I mean, that's a big lesson with the coronavirus too, or to look at with the coronavirus stuff is like, you know, there's so much argument over how the government should save us when it's like, nah, it's you got to do your best to protect your health or your families or whatever. But it's like, there's no public health policy that's going to save you. It's you that's going to save you, and even if you are unlucky and you get it and it's bad, it's up to you to be accepting of that, because it's like, that's the evolution of us all. I don't know if I said this in our last podcast where I was talking about, how we're going through an evolutionary selection pressure right now. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about like the evolutionary impact of this fucking virus in our species. And here's the thing. We're always evolving. And the path of evolution is paved with death. I can't remember what book that was in. I'll try to look at it. I'm sure I'll bring that quote up again because I've been using it a lot. But, everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to go down with the ship, like you said. And like so much of life is spent worrying about that. And then, so when a situation like this pandemic comes where it's like, there's a heightened chance, or, the chances have been raised that, that you're going to meet your maker, or whatever. It doesn't change how we should be aware of our thoughts and our emotions surrounding that, coming to terms with our demise kind of thing, and some people handle it better than others. And I've found that meditation makes me handle it way better. There's other people that are freaking the fuck out about this pandemic. And like people have asked me, like, how are you so calm, or whatever, like my sister said that, I think. And it's like, well, I meditate in the woods as much as I can, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, great, whatever. And it's like, well, you're disregarding that without even trying it, so keep arguing with people on Facebook. That seems to be working pretty good for you. Don't try meditating in the woods if you think it's so stupid. It's not sad, it's glorious. Yeah, I agree. There's something to it. And I've said that about, and those people freaking out should smoke DMT. There's something about, it's not even DMT, just any high dose psychedelic experience where you have an ego death and you actually feel what it's like to die. You experience death. When you come back from that, like, you just don't fear death that much, And so it's weird because and I've said this on several podcasts, but psychedelics, and real hardcore meditation attracts people that are intrigued by death. They don't want to know the answer of what happens when we die. They want to experience it and aren't afraid of it and want to think about why and figure that out. Psychedelics attract those people. Religion attracts the people that are like, tell me what the fuck happens, what I need to do, and I'm gonna, go watch football or whatever, and there's obviously all kinds of people in all different areas or whatever, but it's like kind of the stereotypical, like, median, if you ask people how do they feel about death, or do they want to know what happens, whatever, what happens when the ship goes down, depending on their answer, you could probably tell if they're religious or if they're into psychedelics, or if they just don't give a shit, whatever. But I think most psychedelic people, I guess what started that thought was, that it's not sad, it's glorious, that you commented there. It's I think most psychedelic heads would be like, it is glorious, you know, that you control this fucking shit till the day it can't be controlled anymore, you know. And that would scare religious people, you know. Yeah, I agree there, Josh. You know, like um, I'm an empath, you know, and I think a lot of psychonauts are empaths as well. And um, yeah, I'm not worried about myself, you know, but I do worry about loved ones, and I worry about everybody, you know, and how they feel about you know, just life and society and whatever. And I probably come off as too preachy a lot of times to people. You know, I definitely can be a little tone deaf in conversation, and um, you know, tell people something that maybe they need to hear, but that they definitely don't want to, and I don't need to tell them, you know, and stuff like that. That happens a lot with my loved ones, but it's hard to explain to them that I'm doing that because I'm being empathetic. Uh, Wanting to see the other side was one of your main reasons for doing DMT, even at the beginning. Yeah, yeah, I no, I could see that, and that's why it intrigued me. But then I realized I'm way too much of a pussy. I've never actually like had it either, though. You know, like I'm sure at any point in time I could have uh, tried and acquired it, but regardless, I think I've realized that that's what this whole channel and you know everything has helped me realize is like, wow, I'm way too much of a pussy to do that. You know, I love talking about it and hearing about it and stuff like that. But yeah, like I really all of you that have done DMT are a much braver man than I. You know, um, and I don't know if it's the death component though. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a loss of control, maybe. Yep. Yeah. It goes like this. You taking something big out here. Yeah. Where I start on the path of death there. Oh, well, and so I've had moments on nitrous. I think this is the thing with dissociatives, um, is where you can like get rid of external stimulus so much that you don't have ego death, but you have everything else death. And I've experienced that. That's what I would ways I would use a K hole, you know, or describe a K hole. It's very death like, you know, like almost like, oh fuck, I fucking paralyzed myself. What is this shit, poison? You know, kind of scenario. Um, but I've experienced that on nitrous with mushrooms and acid quite a bit too, where it's like, oh shit, you know, like did I forget how to breathe? Am I even breathing? Like kind of thing like that. It can be very death like as well. Totally different from psychedelics and uh, you know, reality shattering experiences, but it's almost like psychedelics can invoke, you know, your spiritual death. Well, not spiritual, your ego death, and and the dissociatives like ketamine and stuff like that can invoke your physical death that you can come back from with your ego intact. No pity, no remorse, no fear. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I feel like I'm on the path to be able to live that way. But I definitely have not in the past. Those pity, remorse, and fear, that's on the flag of my family crest almost. um, so, like that's where meditation, that's another thing with meditation is I've like started to like kind of lose those components of my ego. I'll see you, Joseph. Yeah, contact me, dude. Anytime. I love writing emails. You will probably write me a rather simple email, and I will write a book that I like, contemplate over the course of 3 days sending and stuff like that. That's kind of my standard MO with emails. Hey, Will, dude, what's up, man? You're coming in towards the end here. It's getting kind of late. I think I'm gonna take off. But what are you up to tonight, dude? Yeah. Oh, I agree with that, Josh. That idea, they're in a better place. That helps people cope with the temporary nature of existence. Oh yeah, man, you got a new place. That's awesome, dude. You live by yourself? When it's practiced properly. Yeah, dude. Well, so I definitely agree. Like I'm probably more religious than most, you know, psychonauts and stuff like that. I think there's definitely uh, a lot of psychonauts. Like I was talking about with psychonauts being attracted to understanding death and religious people just want to be told what it is. I think there's a lot of people in the psychonaut world and the psychedelic culture that have given up on religion or it didn't serve them or whatever. And I definitely, take part in until the pandemic, take part in a lot of stuff in my temple and stuff like that. I don't buy into it historically, but spiritually and stuff like that. Like I kind of, I feel the message, right? Um, but yeah, the story time of like heaven and whatever and all this stuff that most people flock to religion for, like it's to cope with death. All religions started from a question around a campfire, thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago of like, what happens when you die? Where do you go? What happens? And that's the basis of religion as much as mushrooms are. Dude, Will, that's perfect. Yeah, life is like a trip. Set and setting definitely affect the experience. That's for sure. You got one roommate who skates with you. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm jealous, man. Those are the days. Just living with other dudes and like playing video games and smoking weed and stuff like that. Being a fucking schlub dad is a world away from from those days, man. DMT solidified your view on religion and belief became paramount to your core. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool that you guys both, uh, had that kind of thing. I think I would too, honestly. Um, uh, yeah, I don't know. I've talked about it before, but like the thread you can follow on the shroomery of thumbprint of acid, and the guy that did that, the guy that did the thumbprint of acid. I forgot his name, but he talks about like the story or whatever, and he talks about like this other dude that does it, and like he freaks out, And what I mean by thumbprint of acid is like pure crystal acid, LSD, and like stick your thumb in it. I mean, it's like thousands of hits at once. Uh, and he tells the story of this dude that did that and like flips the fuck out, goes in the bathroom and just destroys it, like the mirror and the sink. He comes out and he's covered in like blood, piss, and shit, and they have to like wrestle him and get him into this bedroom, and they thought he fell asleep in there, and then they were like trying to clean up all the acid. They were in there like laying acid, making bladder, and and then they heard like all these cars honking outside, and so they went in the bedroom, and the guy had the door open, was like trying to jump out the window and stuff like that, and they got him back down, and then he just like passed out, and he was like out cold for like 12 hours. And we woke up. I mean, he had this crazy, explanation of the experience or whatever. But like the dude writing this story says that like he ran into that guy like 10 years later, and he had become like a minister, and he was like super religious. He was super like spiritual and stuff like that. But it's like it really like a reaffirmed like religion and God and all this stuff, to where like he wasn't that way before. That's a crazy way to find God, right? Covered in piss and shit, but. Yeah, you seen angels and such on ketamine. That's awesome. Man. Yeah, Will's taking off. Yeah, I'm gonna take off too. It's like an hour and a half of just rambling. We'll we'll do another live stream with Stan next week sometime. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. Thanks for hanging out, dudes. Good questions, good talk. Definitely everyone that I said reach out to me, and we can chat privately or come on the podcast or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe, stay sane, stay weird. See ya.